Hi, I'm Stephanie Hutchins, author, life coach, and owner of Serotinous Life. And this past week, I've started the audiobook recording for my new book, Reclaim Your Life After Trauma, The Power of Goal Setting. And and in many ways, it's been wonderful. The audiobook recording process is my favorite part of publishing books. And so I've been enjoying it, but I have been thinking a lot lately, particularly during the days that I've been recording, on just how many times in my life I wanted to give up. And I don't want to give the impression that my books, particularly the new one, is like really, hard. My books are about hope. I mean, yes, I do share, parts of my healing journey, and of course the tools I use to get through it. So some parts are a little hard, but the point of my books are not to bring the reader there and keep them there in the dark place. It's for me to show them, like, I get the darkness, but then also show them a way out of the darkness. But as I'm reflecting on my story, I think about just how many years of my life, like literal years of my life, I spent not wanting to exist any longer. I mean, my life's been pretty hard. I started my sexual violations started around 9 years old, and and by the time I was 19, I had been sexually violated by 8 different men. That doesn't count the time I was attacked from behind at knife point. It doesn't count all the men who've tried to kiss and grope me without my permission. As a teenager, people grabbing at me, and as a young woman, it's sad to think that it doesn't even count all of those times. And so for much of my life, I just felt like I was under attack. And then at 24, I found a man who finally made me feel that I was deserving of love and respect. And a year later, I found him dead. And so, literally, for much of my life, I just felt like pain was lurking around every single corner. And I just always felt that I had to constantly be on guard for the next terrible thing to happen. And quite frankly, it was exhausting. It was an exhausting way to live. And I just was tired of it. Many days I was just tired and I wanted to give up. And now I'm on the other side of it. Um, I just turned a couple weeks ago 40 years old. And now today, my life is barely recognizable. I went from, having a severe eating disorder and being extremely promiscuous and just harming my body in a variety of different ways to now living a life that I'm extremely proud of. And now I get to help individuals who've experienced immense pain like I have, and I can help them get through it. And and I'm blessed to be able to now use my pain to help others. But it still saddens me to think about all that I would have missed out on if I did give up. Okay, so really my main reason for coming on today is really to reach out, particularly to the individuals that are feeling at any point in their lives that they want to give up, or they get this little inkling like, what is the point of, just why do I need to keep going? What is the point to all of this? And they're just tired of it all. And for you, if you're in that place where you just you don't feel that you can endure just even one more day of your pain, I want you to know that you're not alone. Okay, but I also want to encourage you to just keep holding on, and it's going to be hard to get to the other side of your pain. And I know that you're going to want things to turn around in an instant. Some of our traumas occurred, so quickly. Some of them, it seems like Our traumas can forever change our life in like a blink of an eye. And then it can take years of our life to get even some semblance of control back. And that's what can be so exhausting, is that our life can change so quickly, and that we've got to spend all this time and energy just gaining back control. And and I need you to know that the fight is worth it. Okay, it is worth staying in the game, and it's worth just continuing to put one foot in front of the other, even though it's hard, and even if you may not want to, but just to keep going just one more day, because if you can go for one more day, then you can go for one more day after that, and eventually your days will become weeks, and your weeks will become years. And as more time goes on, you'll get more distance from your pain. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that like the pain's ever going to go away. I mean, our traumas are going to be with us forever. I did another video on why we will never forget our traumas. It's just not possible. Our brain holds on tight to those memories so that we can look out for similar dangers in the future. So there's no way we can ever forget our trauma. And there's always going to be things that will cause us to remember the pain that we've endured. But what I will say to you is that time goes on, as you get more separation from your pain, and as you start gaining some semblance of control back in your life, it'll be easier it won't be as likely that you'll get sidetracked each time the memories come up. I remember that anytime so I have post-traumatic stress disorder, and sometimes I have flashbacks even today, and sometimes they come at really strange moments, like I can't even figure out what caused them to happen, but I'll be sent back. And it used to be when I was sent back and I was remembering an attack, for example, I would get sidelined for days or weeks. I would become extremely depressed. The suicidal thoughts would be almost constant. And it set me back quite a bit every time I remembered. And so for years of my life, I just tried as best as I could to not remember. My mission was to try to pretend that I never endured pain, and just to fill my life with as much busyness and noise and activity as I could, to just never remember. And so I would never be sent back. But that had its own consequences, pretending it never happened when it really did. But today it's different. Okay, and why I share that with you is because I want you to know it's different for me. Okay, that today the memories can come up. Okay, they will revisit me, but they don't sideline me like they used to. I've developed ways for handling the memories when they come up, reminding myself, for example, reminding myself that I am safe in this moment, and that, that was then and this is now, like separating the past from the present. And now I don't get sidelined like I did. The memories can come up and I can let them go. And I don't get sidelined for even hours anymore. And and now I've gone on to complete my PhD. I've traveled around the world. I have a home that I love. I have many loving relationships, and I'm truly blessed. Like, even though most of my life, most of my 40 years on this earth have been extremely painful, there's also been an immense amount of beauty in my life. And actually, I was super excited to turn 40 years old, because the past few years of my life in particular have been so wonderful that I'm so excited for what's next. And instead of being scared to death over, something terrible happening, I'm now excited for the new possibilities for my future. And because I've endured so much pain, and now I've come on the other side and experienced so much beauty, I now know that I can handle anything that life throws at me. And I'm not, I'm realistic. Like, I'm 40 years old. If I live, 80, 90 years old, I'm going to experience a lot more pain in my life. I mean, that's inevitable. We're all going to experience immense pain in our life at some point. And so, but what I know now is that regardless of the pain I endure in the future, I'm going to be able to handle it, and I'm going to be able to get through it. And so I want you to hold on to this and know that if I can go from just not wanting to live and just contemplating suicide every day, and just in many ways despising the fact that I was still alive, and now go to like loving my life and just being grateful for every single day that I still have here on earth, that you can have that too. If it's possible for me, it's possible for you. I spent 12 years of my life in college, mostly learning about the human body. And I spent another 12 years teaching about the human body on the college level. And what I know is that there are minimal differences between every single one of us on Earth. Okay, so, there's almost 8 billion people on Earth now, and there are very few differences between us. And so why I say that is if something is possible for one human, it is possible for every other human. And I need you to focus on that the fact that day always follows night, that everything in life is cyclical. Day always follows night. Spring always follows winter. It just, that's how everything is in life. Every high comes with a low, and then every low is followed by a high. And when you are experiencing those really low points in your life, you got to do what you can to just keep on going. Sorry, I got a little distracted. My cat, Molly, is scratching on the board. I was hoping I wouldn't get any distraction during the video, but she wanted to make her presence. And I guess while I'm thinking about my cats, I have two of them, Molly and Sophie, and I write about them in my books because they've been immensely helpful to me in getting through these hard days. After I found my significant other dead back in March 2008, I almost immediately, within hour, well, I probably wouldn't say hours, within a day after finding him, I had this intense desire to get a cat. And I just knew, I knew I was shutting down. I was wanting to retreat from the world. And I just knew that I couldn't be with humans because I was getting hurt either by the hands or words of humans when they were with me. And I was also getting hurt when they left me. And I always grew up with pets as a child. And so for me, I wanted a pet. And so I got Sophie. The next day, I went to a shelter with my mom, and I went around to multiple shelters to find the perfect cat. And then a few months later, I got Molly, and they've been with me ever since. Here it is now, May 2022, and I've had them both since 2008. So I've been blessed to have them for many years. And in many ways, they helped me keep going and put one foot in front of the other. And this most recent book that I published, Reclaim Your Life After Trauma, the subtitle is The Power of Goal Setting, because the entire book focuses on one of the main tools I used to get through my trauma, and it was goal setting. And just working on having something to aim for. Instead of focusing on my trauma and the devastation that was left behind and all the pain that I was enduring, setting goals gave me a new point of focus. Okay. Now, I didn't start out with huge goals. I didn't start out with wanting to travel the world and, write books and all these things. My goals were small. After Stan died, I could barely work. And I was extremely depressed. I wasn't bathing or leaving my house for days at a time. And so some of my earliest goals started with brushing my teeth. It started with bathing myself and cleaning my home. And so I gave myself things to do each day and I wrote them down. I gave myself a mission for each day, something for me to focus on. And I had a journal and I'd say, brush my teeth, comb my hair, whatever it was. I had all these things that I wrote down, and that was my point of focus for the day. And it allowed me to get away from my pain. And what I did is eventually these practices like bathing myself and cleaning my home, as they became habits, I didn't need to keep writing them down. Instead, I could start writing down new goals, like ones that would challenge me a bit more and again, separate me from my pain and gave me something different to identify myself as. Instead of identifying myself as, a survivor of sexual violence, and instead of being the one who found her significant other dead, I could define myself as, a mountain climber and as a college professor, and so I want you to know, like, there are ways that you can reclaim your days and not be saddled by your unchangeable past. Okay. And I just am here to encourage you to just hold on for one more day. And if one day is too long for you, then you hold on for one more hour, just one more hour. Do something to get you through that 1 hour that you're experiencing right now. And then as the hours become days, the days will become weeks, and you'll see that you're winning, that your trauma isn't winning, that you're winning the fight and moving forward. Okay. And yeah, so if you have any questions about, ideas for what you can do to just take that one step, I'm of course happy to help. But what I should not, neglect to say is that if you are dealing with suicidal thoughts, please seek help. Okay. I am a life coach, and I specialize working with people who've experienced trauma, but I am not a licensed clinician. Okay. And I need you to know that there are people that can help you when you are in these really dark places. Okay. And sometimes, the people we love are not able to help us in these moments. And I know that there's a variety of reasons why people don't like to seek help when they're really in the depths of their despair. And so if you just need some words of encouragement, to get you there, so you'll ask for help, please reach out. But it's important to admit to yourself that you can't do it alone. That if you are having trouble taking it, like moving, into one more hour and one more day and one more week of your life, it's important for you to ask for help, because regardless of the pain you've endured, there is immense beauty in this world. And the only way you can experience it is to just keep going and to not give up. And regardless of the pain you've endured, regardless of the hurtful words that have been said to you in your past, you are worthy of existing. You are worthy of experiencing beauty in life. And some of our traumas leave us with a deep sense of unworthiness. And and what you need to know is that you can't wait to start practicing self-care and taking care of yourself until you feel worthy. You need to take care of yourself so you will begin to feel worthy. That's why some of those early steps that I did, like brushing my teeth and taking a shower and taking out the trash, were some of the absolute hardest things I could have done at that point in my life, because I didn't feel deserving of even that. But as I started some of those basic self-care practices, I started to believe that I was worthy, you know. And I'll be honest and tell you today, even though I'm doing great in many ways, I still have those moments where, those feelings from the past creep in, and I may get a little down on myself, but they don't stay for long. Okay. And I've developed ways to handle it. And I think that's what it's about. It's about putting tools in our toolbox of, how to handle these hard days. And that's what I've been trying to do through my books and videos and all the resources I put out there, is to not only give hope to those that are suffering, but also give tools so that they can put one foot in front of the other, and just keep going on those really hard days. And so if you do have questions, please reach out, and please know I wish you really a lot of love and warm wishes for you on your healing journey. And again, please don't give up. Okay, just one more day. Thanks for listening.